Fly by Jess McGeachin. Lucy had always been good at fixing things. The wonky letterbox, broken watches, even Dad's old binoculars. Dad needed a bit of extra help. It was just the two of them, after all. So when Lucy found a tiny bird who couldn't fly behind the old garden shed, she was sure she could fix him too. He was just a common sparrow, but Lucy didn't think he was common at all. Lucy called him Flap. She made a shoebox bed while Dad took a closer look. "I think Flap's wing is broken," Dad told Lucy softly. "He won't be able to fly again." "It's not fair," thought Lucy. "All the other birds can still soar in the air. Why shouldn't Flap?" Surely there was a way she could help. Lucy took her very best chalk and began to draw. She was surrounded by a sea of crumpled paper before she had the perfect plan. She would need to borrow a few things. Dad wouldn't mind. He liked everything Lucy made. "Keep out, secret plan." Lucy hammered, nailed, sawed and sewed. It took the whole weekend and a few afternoons. But it was worth it. Lucy placed Flap safely in the back seat and pushed the plane to the big field behind their house. The wheels bent the grass as she rolled it into position. She released the brake and they hurtled down the hill, faster and faster and faster until they were flying. They soared above fields and forests. Flap chirped happily, and Lucy knew he could feel the wind in his feathers again. Lucy was so busy checking on Flap that she didn't notice something was wrong with the plane. But she did notice when the wings buckled, the rivets popped, and the propeller started to slow. Just as the plane began to fall, Lucy caught a glint of colour from above. Flip gave a small chirp. There were herons and hornbills, eagles and egrets. Every type of bird Lucy could imagine filled the sky, and they'd all come to help. They gently lowered the plane to a field below, where it fell apart into 100 pieces. Lucy's heart sank. She'd never be able to fix this, and now Flap would never fly again. Dad came and sat next to her in the grass. Lucy told him her plan and how everything had gone wrong. "Not everything that's broken can be fixed, Lucy. But you tried to help and Flap knows it. That's the most important part." Lucy fixed Flap's box so it was even better than before. He stayed with them for the last few days of summer. But then he was gone. Lucy and Dad loved spending time together. Sometimes they fixed things, and sometimes they just watched the birds in the garden. Lucy often missed Flap, but then she remembered she had Dad. It was the two of them after all. Lucy's Workshop.